Everybody, I'm Latrina Patrick. Welcome to day 36 of our 90-day grant writing tutorial. Well, up until now, we've talked a lot about the grant writing process, how to write a grant, what needs to go in the proposal, how to hire a grant writer, what questions to ask a grant writer. Today, I want to talk about a specific area that's very key to this process. When you are applying for a grant, whether it is from a corporation, a foundation, or state government, or the feds, they all ask for one thing. They all want to see a list of your board of directors. And that's because that is a very key component to this grant writing process. And today I want us to focus on that a little bit. In particular, how to decide who needs to be on your board of directors. Now, this is a process that is at the very beginning. So before you ever apply for grant number one, when you are trying to apply for your 501c3 or register with the Secretary of State to become a nonprofit, that's the first thing you're going to have to do. You're going to have to submit them a list of your board and identify how you want your board to operate, whether it's going to be a governing board or whether it's going to be an advisory board, whether it's going to be 2 people or whether it's going to be 10 people. You need to identify in this process who that's going to be. And what I want to talk to you about today is how to be very strategic and deliberate on who it is that's going to serve on your board. So there are very key people, I think, that you need to consider when you are pulling together your board. The first thing I want to say is one of the worst mistakes that new and inexperienced nonprofits do when they're trying to form a board is they surround themselves with people that they believe will make it easy for them. So they don't give a lot of thought to who needs to be on their board, and that will cause you great problems in the long run. So what some people have done is to put on their board people that just they can easily access, like their spouse or their sister, their brother, their kids, or whatever, and that's like not the best thing to do. I don't discount the fact that your partner, your spouse is someone, if this is your business partner and they bring valuable skill sets to the table and you know they're going to be helpful to you, by all means put them on the board. But don't just have them on the board in name only just because you need to be able to get something done. And that's what we're going to expound upon today. So when you're looking at your board, there are some key people I want you to consider. Number one, consider people who have influence in your community. And what I mean by that is people who can get stuff done, or people who know people who can get stuff done. They don't have to necessarily be the most wealthy people or even have money at all, but we all know somebody in our immediate circle of influence who you just know that, man, this person is a mover and a shaker. And every time I look up, there's such and such. She's at every networking event. She's at every social gathering. We all know people like that. And so you want to look and see the people around you who are influencers and who have access to people and resources that you know will be valuable to your organization. So as you are developing your vision and your strategy for your organization, keep that in mind when you're trying to pinpoint people who need to be on your board. Because at the end of the day, you are trying to bring people on board who will support what it is that you're doing and help advance your cause and your mission. So look at who are people of influence. The other thing is look at people who are skilled and have experience in the type of work that you do. You want people who are very familiar with the type of work that you do as an organization so that they can contribute to the process. So if you have a mental health organization or a substance abuse organization, then you want people who are maybe counselors or social workers or people who understand this process. Somebody in recovery, those are always good people to have on the board. If you have an after-school program that you know you work with a lot of kids and you need to get your program into these different schools, make sure you have someone representing the school system on your board. It could be a principal. It could be, if you're very lucky and fortunate, it could be the superintendent from your community. And in smaller communities, a lot of superintendents are very active in roles like that. Or it could be a counselor out of school. But having someone represent that body, someone who you know is going to be necessary to the work that you do, That will be key. So think along those lines of who can help you get into those areas that you need to get in to run your program. You also want people on your board or someone on your board who has finance background. It's always good to have like a CPA, an accountant type person that is on your board of directors, especially if you are new and just coming out the gate. You need someone that's going to be able to guide you in the process to make sure your organization is fiscally capable of handling grant awards. And you want to make sure people can make sure you're up on your taxes and things like that. So when you're new and you don't understand this process, having a CPA on board who can serve as your accountant, and if they're on your board, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do that service for you as an in-kind service. So they're not going to charge you, they're going to help you. So I always encourage that you have at least one person on that board who has a finance money background. That's always helpful. You want people on there who are committed to the advancement of your organization and your programs, and someone who will show up. You don't want people who are just there in name only, but there's a caveat to that. Now, in some situations, if this is a person who you can commit to being listed as your board of directors and they have a lot of influence, then that may be okay. I work for an organization, nonprofit, and one of our board of directors is a person who will never ever show up. We don't expect them to show up, but this person's name, and I won't say it, but this person's name alone is huge. This person is known internationally. And if you hear the name, you will know exactly who it is. And we just love the fact that this person is supportive of our program and is on the board of directors. We know this person will never come to one meeting, but having this person on our board of directors, when someone sees that name, it gives us tremendous credibility. So in situations like that, that's okay. But in general, because you're going to need work done and you're going to need people to show up and contribute to the process, you want people who are really genuinely committed to your organization and will show up for your quarterly or twice a year, however your board decides to meet. But if they can't show up for a quarterly meeting, then that's not a good sign. So be very mindful of that and put people on that board who are committed to helping you advance your cause and your mission. And, also depending on what kind of work you do, if you are a youth-driven organization, have a youth representative on there. If you're doing work for young people, have them at the table, and not in name only. Have them at the table so they are contributing to the process, and their input is they have input into what you're doing. It makes them feel valuable, and it really does help your program. And I'm telling you, when agencies and funders look at your board of directors, they want to see who's on there. But a lot of times with the feds and with the state grants, they want your target population to be a part of the process sometimes in putting that grant together. And they will often ask, was your target population involved, or how was your target population involved in the process of putting this grant together? Well, when you have a program that's a teen program or an after-school program, and your target audience is youth 13 to 18 years old, and you have a 15-year-old or two on your board of directors, that goes a long way. So, and they could just be like in an advisory role, but I'm just trying to get you to think about how you need to surround yourself with the people that you need on your board of directors, and it's just be very strategic. And the last thing that I'll say is, this doesn't have to be extensive. You don't have to have a board of 20 people. God knows that would be a mistake. But anywhere from 6 to 10 people would be good. The more people that you have, the harder it is sometimes to get things done. But if you got a core group of 6, 8 people, that is fine. You want to just get the right people. It's not a set number. It's just having the right people at the table to get the job done. So that's just a little bit that I'll get you thinking about when you try to look at who needs to be on your board of directors. And later this week we'll continue this discussion, and I'll also talk to you about how to go about recruiting board members. Okay, so I hope that you found this information helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you leave those for me here on my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and share the link with anyone you think will also benefit. You'll get immediate notifications whenever I upload a new video if you're subscribed. I also send out email updates every week about what's coming up in that week's tutorials, and to get that, I need you to go over to my website, www.greatervisionconsulting.com, and subscribe to my email updates, and I'll send you out an email every Monday. While you're on this site, check out my background, check out my experience, and please check out the services that I offer, because I would love the opportunity to work with you and your organization. I hope you found today helpful. I have absolutely enjoyed sharing this information with you today, and I look forward to coming back tomorrow with another great tutorial. So until then, see you later. Bye.